Hello, my crafty friends. It's Christy over at Crafty Christy's Creations, and today I'm going to show you how to put together this Warm Wishes holiday card. So you've got the Warm Wishes with the wreath on the top, and then when you open it up, you have a lovely fireplace scene, and then a print and cut sentiment for the bottom piece here. So let's go ahead and get started putting it together. So here I've got all of my pieces already cut out, and there's quite a few little pieces here. And I did a print and cut for the mantle, and these are just digital papers that were inside a Silhouette Studio, so feel free to find whatever you want or just cut it out of brown or white or whatever colors you want. But this is your main piece that's gonna fold and move around. So you've got this score line here for the bottom. That leaves you just a tiny little lip here. And then the top has a fold line here, and then another score line there. And then this is the piece that will attach to the wall. So then it'll stand and look like this. And then you've got this piece here, in case you want your mantle to be a different color from the rest of your fireplace. You've got this piece that has the score line on there. And then this just glues so it'll sit right on top of that mantle, and it'll just glue to that front, and then this piece here. So let's start by gluing that on there. So I'm just using some liquid glue, and you don't need a lot, just enough to get it to stay in place. And then you've got the different angles on the ends here, so you want to make sure the angle's going the same direction, and that's how you'll know you've got it set on there the correct way. And then I'm just going to line up one corner here, and then press that down, and it should line up all the way across. I'm just going to fold that down and get that nice and lined up. Okay. Just pressing that on there. All right, that looks good. So that's all set up. And then we've got some other pieces here. We can go ahead and finish decorating the mantle, or you can get it situated in the card first. But I'm gonna go ahead and just start working on the card base. So here is your card base. It's just your typical card base here, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then this piece here is the front. And I'm just gonna go ahead and center that on there and then get that glued down. So I'm just gonna put a couple little dots of glue on these pieces that are kind of hanging out to make sure that they're nice and glued down. But you don't want to put too much glue. You don't want it to be leaking around your letters when you go to glue everything down. All right, and then we'll just throw some glue around the border here. Okay, that looks good on the glue. I'm gonna make sure my card is gonna be facing me. Don't wanna put this on upside down. And I also make sure that it's opening away from me and that I've got that correct. So I have put these on upside down before, and that's really not any fun. So I'm just gonna center it on here. You should have a nice white border all the way around. And then I'm just gonna lightly press once I think I've got that in a good place. Okay, that looks good. The front of our card is put together. Now we've got these little pieces here of garland, and that goes right on top here above your warm wishes. And then you've got 3 bows that will go on top of that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get those put on here. So I'm just going to put a small dab of glue right in the center of this where this meets, and then we'll just go ahead and grab one bow and throw that on there. And I'm just trying to get those pieces angled the correct direction. I'll put another little dab of glue on the end here. And then we'll throw another bow on that end. And then same thing on this far end. I'll put a little dab of glue and put another bow on this end. And you've got another piece of garland there that'll go on the inside of your card. And you're going to do the same thing with that one. You're going to put those bows. You've got 3 bows to go across it. Okay, and then I'm just gonna flip this over. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue, especially right where those meet. So it's okay if we're a little messy with the glue. And I think that's gonna be enough. I'm just gonna put those 3 dots of glue. I'm gonna line this up to be somewhat centered and then towards the top of this blue section. Try to get that centered on my page. And then we'll go ahead and press all those down. I like just putting the glue in those couple little spots. It's enough to hold it, but it also allows the rest of it to kind of lift off the page a little bit, and that helps give it more of like a 3-dimensional look without having to use foam dots or anything. Okay, so then that is the front of our card. It's all done. And then we'll go ahead and open to the inside. And you've got a lot going on in here. So I think it's going to be easiest to just go ahead and add the fireplace, and then we can move on from decorating from there. So I'll just kind of show you again what this looks like. I'll leave that sitting there so you can kind of see how things go. For the inside, you're going to want to put your sentiment piece down first, just the way that it's going to fit in there. If you want to not have this extra piece, you could certainly just do the print and cut right on the inside of your card design. So that's an option as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and layer this in there with a little bit of glue. And the reason we're putting this on next is because that bottom fireplace where it's going to attach under the score line will be on top of this piece here. So that's why you want to make sure you get this piece in there first so that your fireplace can lay on top of it. Okay, so I'm just going to get this centered on here. Should have a little border all the way around. And boy, this piece got real, not really sure what happened, but got some dirt or something on there. Print smudge. Okay, we got that on there. So then let's go ahead and bring in our mantle. So like I said, I've already got it nice and folded. You can see you've got your folds on the top and then just this one bottom fold. And that bottom piece is going to line up right underneath this score line. and you're just gonna try to center it the best you can, and you're gonna lay it right under that score line. So then it's gonna lay flat, and it's gonna lay flat just like this, with that piece going up like that, and that's what's gonna keep it nice and flat for you. So let's go ahead and we're just gonna put glue on the bottom for right now. Okay, and again, I'm just gonna line that up centered across, left and right across my card, and then just under that score line. And then I'll just press that down. Okay, so you've got that there. Go ahead and lay that flat, and I'm gonna lay this down flat. And then I'm gonna put glue on this. Actually, before I glue that top part, we're gonna put the inside of the fireplace. And you can just kind of eyeball where that's gonna go. So when this is nice and popped up, you want this piece, this is like the background, you want that to fit in here. You want it to fit kind of right in here. So I look at like where it goes at the bottom of that score line for where the mantle folds up. And then that's where you want it to lay. So you can kind of just lay it right there, put your glue on there, and then fold the card down. Open this up, fold that card down, and then that'll get you in the right place. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna put glue on the back side of this. Okay, and then I'm gonna lay with the glue facing up. I'm gonna lay that bottom right inside of that score line there. Then I'm gonna fold the front of the card and let that help get that stuck into place. And then we'll just give that a good press. So then when your card opens, that's actually way too high. Just kidding. You want this to be right flush with that bottom score line. So then when you fold that up, now you can see it's going to cover up inside there. And when you open up your card, what you're going to see is this black is going to be the background. Okay, so you want that right on that score line on the bottom. I apologize. That goes on the score line, and you want it centered left to right inside this opening. So, okay, we've got that on there. And then the next thing we can do is go ahead and put our flame together. And there's a couple of pieces to this. I want that flame to pop out. So I went ahead and made this little box. It's got some score lines. You're gonna cut this out of that same, you can cut this out of any color. You're not really gonna see it. But I cut it out of that same background color. And we're just gonna fold, and it's just gonna make a little box and basically make a pop-up. So if you didn't want to use this, you could certainly use foam to pop this up instead. But I thought this would be fun to do it this way because then it's gonna blend in with the background. So I'm just gonna make that box. And it's just gonna fold up on the same sides. You can squeeze it and lay it flat. All right, so there is your little box. I know it's kind of hard to see. And that's gonna sit on here. And then your flame is gonna go on top of it. So you're gonna layer up your flame. This is the base of it. Then you've got your actual orange flame, and then you've got the grate here that's going to go across it, and then you've got also your brown piece, which is going to be your log. So I like to put my flame down first. You can certainly layer this any direction that you want, but let's make sure, yeah, that goes that way. Okay, so I'm just going to layer up my flame, and I'm going to layer it from the top. So I want the tips of my flame to match up, because there will be space left over at the bottom for your log to fit. Okay, and then across here, I'm going to put that log. Just line in a line of glue there. Put my log across. And then there's still a little bit of room down there, and that's where your little grate is gonna go. So I'm just gonna put really tiny little dots of glue, and I'm only gonna put that glue kind of just around that bottom piece. I'm okay with the top of the grate not being glued down. That'll help it look a little more dimensional. And then that's gonna sit right on that bottom. Okay, and there is your flame all put together. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to add my square to the back of this. And again, this is just to help give it some dimension to make it stick out of the fire, or of the inside of the mantle. This is still going to be able to fold flat, but it will also be able to pop up. So I'm just centering that on there, give that a second to dry. This piece, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and attach the rest of my mantle. So I'm going to put my glue on this back flap here. Now that we've got that the background in there, we can go ahead and add this on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just fold this, and having this, I like to do it standing, so having this standing up, and then I'm just going to go ahead and let that fold back. And I want to make sure that that is nice and straight across. So you may have to pop up one side or the other. And then I'm going to go ahead and just close that down. And press that down nice and firm. Okay, so then when you open it, you can see as you open it, it will go ahead and move a bit. So that's what you've got so far. Okay, now we can go ahead and add our flame. And I'm gonna put this towards the bottom, but I am still gonna leave just a little bit of space at the bottom there, so this has room to move as well. So I'll put a little glue on the back here. And because I still want to see that log from the inside, so I'm just got it sit up just a little bit because I want it to see over this lip. And then I'm just going to let it sit there and dry. And then we can go ahead and start decorating. You've got these tiny rectangles, and those are going to be candles that can sit on the top here. And you've got tiny little flames. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put just a tiny touch of glue right here on the back of my candle, and I'm going to attach the flame. And then I can go ahead and put some glue. You can either glue these down or you can use foam for these to pop them up, give them a little more dimension. I'm just gonna glue these down and I'm gonna space it out. So I'm gonna put one kind of on this side and just push that down. And you'll have to forgive me, the size on this one is not exactly perfect. I had these hanging on, I had them sitting up here, but then when I folded the card closed, they would hang out the top. So I decided not to do that. So they're glued on here instead. So these ones have not, I just hand cut these, but in the file they are fixed. They will sit perfectly on here and nothing will hang out the top. And then we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other one. A little dot of glue here for the flame. And then we'll go ahead and glue this one into place. That one went into place a little better. Okay, so we've got that. And then we can go ahead and just finish decorating across here. Next, I like to put the garland on here. So we're just gonna put a couple little dots of glue. Again, I don't like to glue this completely down, but that is up to you if you want to glue the entire piece. I like to just put a couple little dots of glue. I'm going to try to bring that up all the way up to the edge of the mantle, and then get this one centered. And just kind of hold those in place for a second. And then we can go ahead and put a dot on top of that and then add the bows. Again, don't have to be too careful with the glue. These bows are big enough, they should cover up any glue issues. Okay, there's one. Two. Okay, my 3 bows are on there. And then you've got the 3 stockings to hang on there. Just make sure all your stockings are going the same direction. And then you've got the white pieces that go across the top. I'm just gonna put a little line of glue across the top of all of these, and then I can add those white pieces to them. Okay. There's 2. And there's my 3 stockings. It would certainly look super cute if you wanted to write a name on these or decorate these a little bit more, make them out of fun pattern paper or something. And then these ones, again, you can foam dot them or just glue them down. And then I like to put them on here at a bit of an angle so that they're hanging on there. Put that one in the center. And then this one kind of over on the side there. And then your card is done. So I'm just gonna get these glued down. I think these would look much better with some foam, but I don't have any foam on me right now. So I'm just putting glue right in that corner where I want them to hang. And I'll put that up here. The center one I'm gonna put a little lower under that bow so you can still see the bow. But again, just putting glue on that corner where it's gonna hang. And then I like too that one's gonna hang kind of right over over the fire. I should probably move these all down a little bit, but so they hang in a row. Put this one here. I'll scoot this one down. And then just give those a second to dry. We may have to put some more glue on that one. Okay. You can stick your hand in there if you need to and just pinch those a little bit. Get them to dry. Okay, so here is your completed card. Folds flat. You've got your warm wishes and your wreath on the top. And I was not patient enough for those stockings to dry, but then you open it up, you've got your stockings on the inside. You've got your greeting at the bottom. There's still plenty of space on here for you to write some more. You can also, decide to make this a different color or do it on the inside of your card instead of on a separate piece. But just remember, you want this insert piece to go on first before you start building out your mantle. And there is your Warm Wishes Christmas card.